If you've been an artist for very long, more than likely you've experienced what we call artist block or creative block. I'm going to give you 3 ways to definitively get over creative block today and kick it to the curb once and for all here today on 5-Minute Mentoring. Well, hey, my friends, so glad that you are with me here today on 5-Minute Mentoring. You know, creative block, artist block. I mean, we've heard artists talk about that for years. I've dealt with that. Maybe you've dealt with that before. It can be a normal part of being an artist, but there are 3 really definitive ways that I've figured out over the years of how you can really kick that to the curb and get on with the thing that God has called you to do. We don't want to be wallowing around in self-pity and frustration and all that sort of thing. We want to do the thing that God has called us to do as artists, which is to art, to create. And so the first thing I would say, actually, these are 3 W's, all right? My alliteration engine is kicking in today. And so the first one is what I would say, worship. You got to get in God's presence. You have to be in an intimate, life-giving relationship with the Lord through the Holy Spirit, through the person of Jesus. What does that mean? That means being in His Word, taking time to journal, invest in His presence, worship with music, worship with doing whatever gets you close to Him so that you can sense His presence, hear His voice, and follow His lead. Listen, anytime that I'm feeling dry inside, 100% of the time, the first solution I go to is worship. Why? Because most of the time when I'm dry in anything, whether it's relationships, my art, work, whatever, it usually means I'm going off of my own strength. I'm just trying to drum it up, or I've let the well run dry, if you will, and I'm just kind of going on fumes, trying to drive a car with no gasoline. Worship is what's always going to refill that. Always, always, always. First, go back to His presence. Second, the second W I would say is wonder or wow. What is it that is causing you to wonder? What is it that's causing you to wow? How are you sowing, inspiration into your life? You've got to do things that really cause you to see the wonder of God, the wonder of beauty, the wonder of creativity. When's the last time that you went to a museum, or you went to for a walk in the woods, or you went and just sat by a lake or a creek and allowed that to just wash over you? When you went to maybe a museum and saw a show, went to a concert, went to a coffee shop and just read a poetry book. These times of wonder, these times of wow enliven our heart. They allow us to go, oh, yes, that's why I'm an artist. I feel the breath again. I feel the inspiration again. And so you've got to sow that inspiration, that wow, that wonder into you so that when you go into the studio and do the stuff, you're not just, again, operating from that place of emptiness, but you're operating not only from the place of His presence, but also from the place of all the things that you've sown into your heart and into your imagination. Number 3, then, the third W is work. You got to get in the studio. You can't wait just for the magic fairy dust of inspiration to come and fall on your head. I find mostly that it's when I have a studio practice that is a regular studio practice of just showing up and doing the thing that God's called me to do creatively. As I create, inspiration begins to surround me. As I create, the wow and the wonder begin to come back. As I create, I sense God's pleasure and His Spirit with me. And so if you will worship, if you will sow wonder into your life, if you will just get to work, I guarantee you that creative roadblock that is just sort of this, feels like a roadblock or a fence, a barrier inside your life, it will absolutely come down. Lastly, I would just say this. Remember, you are not designed to be dealing with these subconscious obstructions and these roadblocks all the time. Jesus said that we could say to this mountain, move, and it would be cast into the sea with what? Just a little bit, just a mustard seed of faith. And when you're with God in His presence, when you're doing things that are inspiring and causing you to wonder and experience the wow of beauty and creativity in life, when you're showing up to work, that is in itself faith. It's the substance of the things that hope for. It's the evidence of things not seen. It's not just being an artist up here. It's actually doing the work that God has called you to do. With that little bit of faith, you can say to the mountain of creative roadblock, move, and I promise you, it'll be cast into the sea. You can get on doing the thing that God's called you to do. I love you, my friend. Let me know if you're using these 3 W's in your life to beat creative roadblock. And I can't wait to see what you create and what you experience because of the new breakthrough that you found. I love you, my friend. Remember, until next time, you were created to thrive.